Okay, to tie a woolly bugger, we're going to start with a lead underbody. And to do this, you just wind it on like you would a piece of thread from your bobbin. And I'm doing this along the whole length of the shank of the hook so it's evenly weighted. And you'll notice I'm doing this before I tie in my thread. That's because I like to secure the lead to the body with some thread wraps back through the spirals. Just like that. Stop with your hook thread right at the bend of the hook so you can tie in the tail. The tail of a woolly bugger uses marabou, and I like to find the fluffiest that I can. It seems to breathe a lot better in the water. In this case, we're using a piece of brown marabou. And you want to measure it so it's the length of the hook as well, and trim off so that all the butts are even and they're a little easier to tie in. Just like that. Now I'm going to tie in the rib of the fly. In this case I'm using red wire. You can use anything. You can use a very thick piece of flash. You can use tinsel. But I like to use red. I think it's a good trigger color. Then I'm going to tie in my hackle. This is a piece of saddle hackle. I like to use the webbiest that I can find at the base. I like the front of the fly to look very buggy. We're going to tie this in by the tip, right at the tail. Same tie-in point as the rib. And just leave those materials towards the tail of the fly. Now you're going to tie in the body, which is chenille. This material is very durable. It comes in not only different colors, but it comes with little pieces of flash integrated into the material to add a little extra attraction to your fly. You're just going to wind this on like you would a piece of hackle. One wrap in front of the next, slowly making your way up the body of the fly. Make sure to cover all those thread wraps, cover all those lead wraps, and stop just shy of the hook eye and tie off your body. Clip off the extra. One common mistake people make when tying this fly is they crowd the eye. Try to give yourself a little bit of room because you have to remember you still have two more materials to tie in. Now we're going to take the saddle hackle, and I like to use hackle pliers for this. I clean off the bottom portion of the stem and attach my hackle pliers because I feel like I can get a nice even wrap with it, more even than I could get with my fingers. I just space each wrap up the body and stop at the same point that I stopped with the chenille. Make one or two extra wraps with the stem, tie it off, and clip the remaining portion of the stem. Now at this stage, take your wire rib, and just like the pheasant tail, you're going to wrap counter to the wraps of hackle. Try to space it as evenly as you can so that it has each wrap of wire wraps over a wrap of hackle. And stop right at the head and tie it in. Cut off the excess wire, and at this point everyone likes to shape a nice neat head on their woolly bugger, so I take some extra thread wraps and I cover up the remaining wire, any protruding hackle fibers, and just form a nice tight thread head on the front of the fly. I try not to go back too far, but sometimes the thread just has a mind of its own. Take your whip finish tool, finish the fly, and clip your thread. It's a general woolly bugger.